I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with a 3-minute cattle market update for Friday, October the 7th, brought to you in part by a new sponsor, International Brangus Breeders Association. Are you still looking for the perfect breeding combination for your herd? Ultra Black and Ultra Red genetics, derived from registered Brangus cattle, allow you to inject a low percentage of ear, and research has shown that these Ultra Black sired cattle have higher values than just straight bred black cattle. For more information or to find a breeder near you, visit GoBrangus.com. We're just searching for a bottom on these cattle, both fats and feeders, and we realize we've come off those record highs we've had the last 2 or 3 years there, and we knew why we had those is because we had a shortage of supplies, and now we've rebuilt those supplies, and there's just no reason to have an inflated price. So we're just looking for what cattle are actually worth at normal supplies, at even flow there of demand and supply in there, and what are cattle really worth. And we're getting back in there to where those prices were before we saw that big inflation there. But you look at the futures market, live cattle October contract, Wednesday was up 95 cents after that big day on Tuesday up the limit. Thursday was down 42, so we've leveled off from that, and Thursday's close was at 102.42. December contract was at 103.10. Feeder cattle on October, Wednesday was down 55 after a big over $4 up on Tuesday. Thursday was up 37 cents, so it's kind of moderated out too, with Thursday's close at 127.82. Your corn was down 7 1/4, which if that spurred that meager little 37-cent jump in there, we've got some work to do. But new crop corn's at 340.5. But you look at the fat cattle market, traded some Wednesday and Thursday there, and it's at 102, and which is really not that disappointing. I mean, you know, we may call it $2 lower, which it was for the Southern Plains, but from that 5 area weighted average was only 102.65. So there was a lot more cattle at 102 than there was at 104. So that really is not that bad of a market there, and it looks like maybe we could be stabilizing a little bit here and getting close to some footing. Your Northern Plains, that was really unevenly steady for them compared to last week. Iowa still struggles. They always do this time of year. Well, they always do, but especially this time of year. And they're trading live sales from 99 to $1, which was really steady with what they did late Friday there last week. You look at your dress trades at 158 to 160, which is $3 to $5 lower. Not sure what we're going to need to get this thing going. I tell you what, it looks like we're starting to moderate down and maybe not be quite so herky-jerky. And I still think we're probably going to drift down into the 90s for your mainstream market. But we get into the fall there, what we really need is a good storm. And that always spurs the market up a little bit, and which is a fundamental thing and not just a chart deal. But we get into this fall a little bit and get some kind of a freak storm, and that always supports the market. We always hate it for the guys that get it, but it just supports the market. We get in here in a few weeks and get kind of a freak storm, I think things could kind of settle down. But your actual slaughter steer weight, dress weight for the week ending September the 24th, which is as quick as they can get the actual data out, is 904 pounds. That's still a monster carcass there, but nothing like last year. But we're just not quite. We may be as current, but the guys still want to make them that big. That's what it really takes to make them cattle work, is to get them weighing 1,600 pounds. It's not really what the industry wants per se, but you know, that's what they make knives for, is to cut those big old things into pieces there. And we may just have to get used to that, because your feedlots have gotten where they want to put cattle on feed heavier. They want to take them to a heavier weight to try to somehow escape close to a break even, and they're not getting that done. Still losing about $150 to $200 head on a lot of these cattle. Slaughter so far this week through Thursday, 446,000, which is 6,000 less than last week and 11,000 more than the same week a year ago. But still going to be a decent slaughter, it looks like. Your packers are seeking to contract cattle out front, so that's another reason that makes me think that maybe this thing is about to settle down. If they thought it was just going to keep getting lower and lower and lower all the way through the end of the year, they wouldn't be trying so hard to go out and contract cattle near what today's prices are. And then it looks like they hooked somebody up north into doing that this week and selling some cattle way late in the year and even into early next year. But that's one of their ploys, to get all the leverage they can and all the captive supply they can get, where they don't have to compete too much to buy these negotiated cattle. But Wednesday in El Reno, Oklahoma, at the feeder cattle auction, had 4,800 head. Your feeder cattle steadied at $2 lower. Cattle Market Central report really looked more like 3 to 4 lower on everything except those weighing over 8. But we'll go with the guy that was sitting there. Calves steadied a week. You look at some of your prices now. I was looking at El Reno and Salina and Pratt, right in there and in the middle of the plains, in the middle of your 5-area region, and it looks to me like an 850-pound steer is worth, not just one, but a load of 850-pound steers is worth about $1.28. And that's just kind of where the market's at right now. I looked at Salina there, and their market looks $3 to $7 lower, except for those bigger, heavy cattle weighing over 8. But it really, your 700 to 1,000-pound feeder steers are all bringing about the same, because those heavier weight ones are bringing more because you just don't have as much time to put in. And it's you hate to say that, but your cattle feeders are really thinking that they've got a chance to lose less on those big heavy cattle than they do the lighter weight ones, even though feed is really cheap. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, because usually when feed is cheap, the lighter cattle are, the more they bring. But we just can't back these cattle up so much anymore, and we probably haven't seen a bottom to these feeder cattle, because we've got a world of giant calves coming down the pike. A lot of them aren't sold yet. A lot of them that are sold are going to plug up the outlets in all your processing and your starter pens there, and a lot of your feedlots. It's going to weigh heavy on the market. So we're just you can only back those cattle up so much. You know, it's really hard to back cattle up $30 100. Maybe you could back them up that whenever they were bringing twice as much like they were a year or two ago, but now it's a percentage of what they cost, and you just can't back them up quite that much. So probably going to be coming down some more on those big cattle, especially those 6 and 7 weight fat calves are going to be coming in. They'll weigh heavy on the market. But that 850-pound $1.28, that's not really the case when you get in that farmer feeder country. You look at a sale on Cattle Market Central out of Bassett, Nebraska on Wednesday, just 10 minutes till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They had a load of 948-pound steers bring $1.34, and that's not the real market. That's just what happens in the Sand Hills in Nebraska. That's 3 minutes, and we'll talk to you next week.